Hey, this is Zach Roberts from comicbook.com. I just received a package a couple days ago from National Geographic Channel, and it is promoting the second season of the really just fantastic narrative, half documentary TV show called Mars. Uh, it is coming out in 1 month from today, November 12th, at 9 p.m. Eastern on the National Geographic Channel, and also on streaming and da 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 da. But I got to actually do a set visit with this for this show a couple months ago, and the cast is really fantastic, and also the documentary portions of it are actually making me, a person who doesn't really care about space exploration that much, and in fact thinks that, going to Mars is kind of crazy when we have a planet that we should probably try to be focusing on saving. This show makes me care a little bit, at least about it, but it makes me want to watch more, which again, as a person who enjoys sci-fi, not massively, but like in little bits. This show I'm super excited about. I haven't watched the second season yet. I just got the downloads for it, so I'm going to be hopefully posting more about that. I might do a podcast about it and kind of talk about it more. But this is one of those shows that, not just because I got to meet the cast and everything like that I'm super excited about. It changes the way that narrative fiction television can do smart subjects. It doesn't have to be House of Cards. It doesn't have to be things like that. Like, this can actually inform you, and it uses the information to explore the genre. And one of the things that this show does fantastically, which is the way that I kind of promote it, as opposed to most science fiction, science-y type things that we're just like, we don't have time to explain to you space travel and interdimensional whatever, things like that or whatever. What they'll do is they'll show a little documentary, really well shot documentary portion, and then cut to the thing that's going to happen in the narrative series. So you actually learn, as opposed to having some terrible metaphor. It's like, well, what we're going to do is we're going to place the bomb on this thing, and then it's going to implode like a balloon and explode. And as opposed to some really terrible metaphor that Futurama has made like fantastic jokes about, it actually explains the things to you. So you actually don't have the time where an actor is trying to explain rocket science to you. It has actual scientists explaining it to you in a fun way, and in an interesting way. And, that's everybody from a person who I'm not a huge fan of, but Elon Musk, to actual astronauts explaining to you how all this stuff works and how, like, actual space travel would affect you. And the cool thing about that is that since they're not just using just scientists, they're actually using astronauts who are also scientists, but they're using people who have actually experienced it, so they actually get to show you the enthusiasm behind space travel and actually going through this, and how much kind of what they're seeing happen play out narratively, how much that would freak them out or how much that would excite them, and things like that. But the cool thing is, for me right now, is that they just sent me a box of promoting it. I've opened this just because I always open these things to make sure that I'm not opening things and go spoilers sort of thing. But I'm gonna open it up here if I can. Yes, by the way, it comes from executive producers Brian Grazer and Ron Howard, and don't worry, it's super exciting. I made a lot of jokes about Ron Howard before, especially with Solo. Yeah. But yeah, let's open this thing up. Ooh. Oh, that's cool. I still get excited about this thing. 100% Martian, because in season 2 they're starting to explore where people are. It jumps forward sometimes, so you're starting to have people who are actually Martian, like they're not Earth. They're not Earthians. Earthians? I don't know. Citizens of the world. But yeah, let's open this up. Oh, cool. Wow. Socks that say Mars National Geographic on them have little Mars on them. Um, another pair there. And I hope that I think I can share this because this was thing. In the first season, you only had one group of people who were exploring Mars. They kind of start to touch upon the fact that there might be further, explorers. So there was basically in the first season there was a nonprofit kind of United Nations space exploration type group that got together through a combination of like governmental and nonprofit funds and explored with the idea of just exploration. No profit, nothing, whatever, just science. Now that flashing forward, now that we have basically an actual colony on the Mars in the second season, and it's established that they can survive and potentially even thrive. They're now corporate interests have come in because basically no one owns Mars, so that's anyone can come in and kind of jump on that bandwagon. So the first season we had IMSF. I'm blanking on the moment what IMSF stands for. I should know that by now. But we have Team IMSF, responsible terraforming for a brighter future, which is very cool. I love this. Sadly, it's a size large. I'm going to have to lose some weight. And then on the other side, we have the corporate interests who, they're not necessarily like terrible people. It's just that they're focused on making money, which I don't know. I'm a socialist, so it's whatever. But they aren't inherently evil. They are. It's a kind of a light corporate evil. It's not Mr. Robot like kind of they're trying to take. There's not that level of evil. They're just a company. And that's what the bottom line comes. The bottom line is the most important thing. So you can kind of decide on from there. But they have Team Lucrum, which is the other company that is interested in, as it says, tapping resources for a better humankind. So that's very cool. I like this. And we have a little flyer with set your clocks forward to the year 2042 when Earthlings colonize the red planet to become 100% Martian. Fortunately, you don't have to wait that long for the fun to begin. National Geographic's Mars is back in the game, returning for a second season Monday, November 12th at 9 p.m. 8 Central, with a 6-episode arc that alternates between scripted drama and documentary sequences to predict what life will be like on the red planet. To get you ready for what's ahead, we have organized a complete Mars game night for you and a friend. Decide if you're Team IMSF or Team Lucrum by taking our quick quiz, and then suit up for the trip to the red planet. You'll need your head fully in the game and feet firmly planted on the ground when you terraform Mars. Win or lose, we've included an entire second season of Mars along with a complete press kit on the USB. This is very cool. It's very nice. And you can see the flyer behind here. The art on this has been fantastic. Also, can I say, holy crap, the sets are crazy amazing on this. Almost everything is practical. There's actually very little green screening involved in this. It's kind of amazing. So here's the quiz. I'll see if I can just scan this and post this up at some point. But they also sent me, which is very cool, Terraforming Mars. Coming to Mars was a big step. Making it habitable will give us a new world. It is a game by looks like Jacob Fryalexis. I don't know. Fryax Games. I'm assuming people who are into board gaming will probably know this. I recognize this label, Stronghold Games. But wow, it is a full game with taming the red planet has begun. Corporations are competing. Wow, this actually sounds so much like the movie. It's weird. I wonder if this is actually an actual tie-in or whether this was an existing game. That's very cool. Let me see. I'm not going to open it all up because, wow, it's got a lot of things in it. Game thing. I'm not a huge board game person, so I'll have to try playing this with a friend of mine, maybe Russ from comicbook.com, if we can figure out some time. And we'll see how it goes, and then maybe we'll do a giveaway on this stuff and see if anybody wants it. I'm gonna have to see if I can get them to send me a larger size, because I don't think I'll ever be a large this small. But yeah, so this is very cool. Again, November 12th. I cannot recommend this show enough to people who don't, whether you don't like science or whether you just want something like action driven. This is also a really great show for I don't know if I'd say under 10, maybe under 10 would get into it, but especially like, tweens and teens. It's got enough drama and kind of action in it that will hold kids' attention in the way that, like, maybe not Game of Thrones, but like an actual more of a science fiction-y type show would keep people. But it also teach things, and it'll teach real things. Almost everything in the show has been to some level fact checked. So like when they're terraforming things, the way that they show it has been scienced. They've double checked everything and made sure that at least they can get it as close to they can do it within budgets and within everything else that they can do. And it does show, because everything actually makes sense. There's no moment where you go, movies, or it's like we always have a joke phrase, because comics, that's why those things happen. No, everything is because, well, science. And they have done, the writing staff on the show has done an amazing job of actually making it interesting. Again, for a person like me who doesn't really care too much about space travel, like Star Trek Next Generation was really the only series that I gave a damn about, and that was mostly Patrick Stewart. I'll watch anything with Patrick Stewart. So this show has gotten a person who's not really into this genre very much into this genre. I found Battleship Galactica boring as hell. I love this show, and genuinely love this show, and I can't wait until not only I get to see the second season, but I also get to see fans' reactions to the show. It didn't get a lot of attention in the first season. I think that this second season is gonna be when it's gonna really pick up. I'm so happy that Nat Geo Channel gave it a second season, because it's one of those shows that really, really deserves it. And I hope that you check it out. And I will, if we get a chance to play this game, we will do a little post. Russ and I will do a little post about it and talk about it, or whoever I end up getting to play with it. I don't know if you know any board gamers, but yeah, thank you much, and I'll be posting a lot more about this show. Check out me on Twitter. I post a lot about politics, but I also post a lot about movies and things like that. Please check out Emerald City Video Podcast. Russ Burlingame and I just watched Venom, which was good. It's about, you can watch it. It's 30 minutes of us kind of chatting about it as we drive away from the theater. It's a thing we do for our new release wall movies. But check that out. You can find them at Emerald City Video Podcast on Facebook, where we post everything, but also it's on all of your podcatchers of choice as well. I'll try to get Russ and I to delve into the show a little bit when we can talk about it. I mean, we can tie it in with some science fiction movies as we go along. But yeah, follow me, ZD Roberts on Twitter, Zach D. Roberts on Facebook, and if you're interested in photojournalism, follow me at zdroberts.com. And I've got some really cool stuff from the set of this that as soon as I get clearance, I'm going to start posting, and I'm going to give away things. I took Polaroids on the set and got people to sign them. So I'm going to give away a couple of those. So if you're a really big fan of the show, you may have to actually get an autographed, original, one-of-a-kind photo of the stars, which is, I think, pretty cool. But yeah, anyway, Follow me, CD Roberts. Basically everything you can think of on Instagram as well. And have a good one.